Alright, so we've got the underpainting for that. Waterfall, the rocks are looking pretty good. Let's add in some of this grass and get some of that foliage and stuff laid in there. And then we'll come back in and add like the bridge and all that stuff too. So, I'm going to go with this green color here. And there's a couple different brushes that I can use. I want to have a bit of an underlay. So this is my bush brush. Let's see, I don't want to put that on the waterfall layer. So make a new layer for it. And just kind of start dabbing it in here. Maybe a few here and there where some stuff is growing. I think could be good. This is where I can take some artistic license because I'm not tied to the original. The original is just kind of my starting point and inspiration. Okay. This is one of my new brushes. Zoom in just a little bit so I can see. So, one of my brush sets on Gumroad gets lifetime updates, and this is one of the brushes that'll be going to those people that have bought it. Okay, now the key here is to not kill all of the dark, but just kind of let the brush grab here and there so that it pulls some foliage over, so you still have some of that dark. Okay, like so. We can even add just a little bit of yellowish green for some real highlights. And by doing that, it pushes, see how that pushes that back? We can even go really darker and kind of put some in here, like so. And then come back to this, and that really kind of shoves that back into the background. And the same thing for here. You see, gives it kind of a neat feeling. And then I have another one, which is a similar brush, but it's a little different as far as the size and the layout. But these will all be updated for those that have bought my brushes. The one that has the lifetime updates, that is. But I think these turned out pretty good for some cool brushes. Maybe put a little up here. Maybe just a touch up here. I think having some of these peek out here and there is kind of cool. So that kind of helps push some of that back and bring some of this forward. I think that works really well for that. And we can add in some trees, like maybe a tree down here or something. Actually, in the original painting, there's just a tree right here. I want to add some more down here to really kind of push this back. So I'm going to do that real quick. I'm going to go to my stencils. And Forest Grove looks pretty good. Just kind of quickly fill some of that in. Maybe grab a little bit lighter. I can come back and refine these as needed. I don't want these to be too like in your face. I just want to be kind of there, you know. And maybe we'll go with something like this fir tree. Right about there works. There we go. So just kind of a subtle thing to put in there for right now. And we may come back and add some other stuff, but I am going to add a stick or two. Sticking out of maybe here. Put this on another layer in case I just don't like it. Don't like it. I'm going to grab this kind of dark bluish color. A little bit further down to the oranges to get a brown. And then I can use just my regular everlasting oil brush for this. Again, just a subtle thing. We can come back and do more details here soon. So what I need to do now is a couple things. One, I want to go ahead and get these rocks highlighted and get this water highlighted and kind of pull that together, and then we're going to add this bridge. So one of the best ways to do that is to add a new layer on top of everything and then set the blend mode. Let me show you. Set the blend mode to overlay. Okay. And then now what I'm going to do is I'm going to switch back to my custom brush. I'm going to switch back to my soft brush, or old brush. And then I want a kind of a mid-yellow. And we can start laying in some highlights. Like so. And the nice thing about doing it this way is that I can always erase some of these if I don't like them. But it also doesn't change the paint underneath it, so I still keep a lot of that texture, but it gets brighter. And it gives you some interesting looks. Like, see, I got a little bit of green and stuff there. That's kind of cool. It's, you know, maybe it's something reflecting in it. Maybe it's a little bit of algae under the water, you know. But see, like right there, it lagged, and so because it lagged, it kind of messed it up. But now I can just erase that back, and there we go. So it's one of those things with digital painting that is really nice, is that you can go in and add these different highlights and stuff so that you're really able to play around with it and undo it, change it, tweak it, adjust it. So like if I want a little bit less yellow, a little bit more white, I can do that. Like so. And again, same with the bushes. Don't highlight everything. Just highlight some. So if there's some of this that I don't like say this green here, maybe I don't like that looking so intense bluish green, I can just go back and kind of soften it back with an eraser. This is one of those things where you can just kind of keep going back and forth to get the look that you want. Okay. Alright, kind of like so. Now we want to put the highlight on these rocks, so I'm going to come back to my rock stencil. I'm going to zoom in to 100. And you can you can use the stencil. You can also just freehand these if you want. This is on my other new brushes too. I want to try it out real quick. I haven't tried it on doing rocks. So let me see. Not too bad. It keeps some of that interesting look. You can also use, because I'm putting it on this layer, I can add in what I need. So I don't necessarily have to use this stencil. You can also change the highlight a little bit, which you can use for the background. You can even use, like, say, for example, the airbrush, if you wanted to add a little bit of kind of bluish tint to some of the background rocks. Okay, but by using the rock stencil, I can get that breakup of different patterns and add even more depth to it, like so. So it really just kind of depends. Do you like how it looks? Do you want to add more texture? Do you not? So this is kind of a personal preference thing. The main place this is going to be needed is on these. So that helps push some of that forward and some of that back. Now, because this is on top of everything else, it looks kind of weird over those leaves. So we can actually them above. Like so. So now they're on top of that highlight. Okay, now this is, again, not finished yet with those, but gets kind of that highlight on there. And then we'll come back and give some final sparkles and cleanups and stuff as well. But now it's time to consider that bridge. So, come back down. Clear out the layer here on top. Zoom in. You can kind of see where that is. We need a brownish color. Like so. So that'll give us that bridge. Like a bridge over troubled waters. Now that I've got that roughed in, I can refine it. Need a highlight color. Just kind of softening that with the marker. Let's switch to the ink tool. Click on round and smooth. Take off the, well, we'll leave the square head for a moment, see how that looks. A wood grain brush. It's a very subtle brush, but it does work really well. So wood grain. This may be too small for it to really kind of shine. Yeah, I think it's going to be. Works a little bit better on larger stuff. So just take the pencil. And change that. This hard tip works really great for shading. So I'm also going to clean up that rough chalk edge. just a little more solid line. Like so. Nice thing about the square brush, I can tell exactly where it's going to go. Or almost exactly, I guess. There we go. The key with getting this kind of wood grain is just varying pressure and going the direction of the grain. These little bit longer strokes. So and again, it doesn't have to be perfect. I mean, this is one of those things that you could go in and photo bash and put some wood grain on it if you wanted to, if that's what you were going for. But I'm not, so I'm not going to worry about it. This is just a little bit. It's okay if they're rough, but just want it to make sense. And that making sense part means having a little bit refined dark edge there to separate it out from the background more. So that really kind of helps sell it as a wood bridge. At least to me it does. And same for the bottom here. So much for photorealistic, just an impression of what we see. So yeah, I think that pretty much sells that as a bridge. I'm going to add a little bit more thickness to the bottom. But let me save this real quick.